some of the companies that have employed people that actually finished our training. And it's a wide variation of companies. You have some of the AT&T and US Cellular, people like that. You have those type of companies, but then you also have like the FedEx, Chicago State, Neighborhood Housing, Chicago Public Schools. You have all those type of things, all those type of companies that are not IT or IT-centric corporations that are doing this, right? So, if you can have him to come in and tell them we're ready to get started here, I'm going to bring some of these people up here and let them talk to you. These are some of our past students, and they're actually out there working in the industry. So first we'll bring Lori. You can come up and have a seat. They're going to actually talk, and they'll answer your questions. If you have questions for them, they'll answer your questions. Where I want you to sit. Now, that's the first. You asking me a question. Just start at the end there, right? Chris Nobles, he's not here yet. And I don't know, he works at Meyer and he's on call. He's on call a lot, so he's not here. Edward Tang. If you can sit in the third seat there, sir. Roy Jackson. Royal Jackson, I guess he likes to be called. I see that his name is. And Leonard Razor. You figured you was going to get up. Well, you leave the third seat open for Chris.
Oh.
Really, Edward was supposed to sit in the third seat. Yeah, move over one. They play musical chairs here. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna start with Leonard and work our way back, and they're gonna kind of give us an idea of what they're doing, and speak loudly, speak into the microphone so people can hear you. Oh, by the way, we're taping this, so we're taping this, right? I meant to bring consent forms. But
I get some highs on this mic.
Oh, jeez. So we're going to start with Leonard. He's on the purple. And then we will go down there, and they will kind of, after Leonard, they'll introduce themselves and tell you what they do, a little bit of stuff, and then they'll be open. You can actually ask them questions. Okay?
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. I am the infamous Leonard Razor. No, I'm just kidding. I am currently a network administrator for Thornton Township School District, which is Thorn Ridge, Thornwood High Schools, and then they have a couple other offices they support, Harvey Corporate Office, AFL, Academy for Learning School. So all in all, I am somewhat the first point of contact for about eight or so buildings. What that means is I'm pretty much kind of in charge of all network operations and support for all of those schools, all major offices that we support as a school district. I pretty much started off with Mr. Razor years ago when he first got started, and as he mentioned earlier, I'm in the music field, but I wanted, just pretty much another career to kind of complement and somewhat contrast what I was already doing. And the more things you can, take up, the more marketable you can make yourself. So that was always my idea going forth. And even though I graduated college with a music degree, I was actually part of a dual degree program that included some kind of basic core technology principles and functions and things like that. So I got into class a few years ago and began to sit under him and Mr. Davis. And what I can tell you and what I can assure you is that after working in the real world in IT for about a couple years now, I can tell you that everything that you learn and everything that you get out this class does nothing short of prepare and educate and develop you for what you're going to do out there. And you know, in a world today where, you know, we are having, you know, trouble finding jobs, and it seems like jobs are going short, I can sit here and tell you all that I've probably turned down more jobs than half the city of Chicago in the last few months. And I say that because just to say that with the knowledge and the skill set that you get out this class, regardless of what you might hear, there are opportunities for you. And what I'm finding out more and more myself is that there's a need and there's a requirement for IT professionals. And so right now, I'm a network administrator in the school district. I actually had accepted a job a couple months ago elsewhere, and I, you know, actually left because I just made up in my mind that, you know, maybe I could, you know, find something better, and, you know, maybe I could find something that'd be more fitting to my schedule. And, you know, my old job, when I called them back, they was like, well, I mean, we definitely like to get you back in. And I was back in like the next day. But I just say that to say that I really attest and I really attribute, you know, everything that I've been able to do and being able to make that type of jump from the things I learned here at CITC. You know, I went ahead and I got CCNA certified, sitting under Mr. Davis and his class, and, you know, since I've been on the job, I mean, been able to get all the experiences and things, and everything I'm learning pretty much starts and it originates from everything that I learned here. And even though there are always going to be new technologies and new principles and new things you can learn, and that's for all of us, with the core knowledge and the core set of skills and experience you get here, I mean, you're pretty much prepared for everything. So I'd encourage anybody who's endeavoring to step forward in the business or to step forward in the profession for whatever reason it may be, this is definitely a place where you will find exactly what you need, and I can rest assure you that you know, no matter how hard it may be, and I mean, because it is hard. I mean, you know, I'm gonna keep it real. I mean, it's no walking apart. But, you know, anything that you want and anything that's, you know, that's good is always worth struggling and fighting for. You know, but, you know, in the end, I believe the reward is well worth it, and I definitely recommend and encourage any and everybody to get their hands on the knowledge and the things that you'll get out this class. So, thank you all for your time. Turn it over to Royal.
It's usually not me sitting on this side of the fence, so it's an honor, and I'm excited to be speaking with you this morning. My name is Roy Jackson. I had some computer experience before I came to CITC. Didn't have anything current to offer the job market, so I was unemployed. Selected this school, still don't know how I got here, don't know how I found these people. They just popped up one day. Got A+ certified, we passed the raise in the fast track class, 2010, I believe. Sat in on Felix's class about 4 times, trembling, scared. Didn't think I would know anything that guy was talking about in that class, but Chris motivated me to just take it like I was a baby. You know, I never heard anything before, but you're gonna learn what A, B, C, D is. So with that, I challenged myself, and I signed up for the CCNA class. We got out of class, I believe, last June. Somehow I landed a little mom and pop job fixing and working with Hewlett Packard products out in the field in July, I would say. I said I'd give myself 6 months working with them. I didn't want them to pay me any money, a lot of money. I didn't want them to, just didn't want to be poor and keep me from probably living on the street, but it kind of started happening like that. So it was time for me to move on. I took some advice from Chris, just spent a lot of time at Career Builder, and I did that for like 4 or 5 hours a day. I would just go to Career Builder and all those online sites. And I started getting some hits back with my resume, some guy called me from the Spirion agency and had some positions available at McGraw-Hill Publishing out in Burr Ridge. I'm interviewed for that, took a few little simple tests to get my foot in the door. So I just started working for them in the help desk position last Thursday. So I'll be dealing with their online training courses, the professors, the teachers, the sales reps that deal with Hewlett Packard. They're a publishing company, so they write books for college classes, schools, courses. They don't deal with K through 12 grades, but they do kind of get involved with kids that are going on to college, so they kind of go into some of the high schools. So I'll be working on the help desk. I'm excited about it. I'm not scared to learn anything new, because once you take Phyllis's class, you can probably do anything on the planet. So I think I'm going to do well just because I was in that man's class back there. So I would tell anyone to, if you don't know anything, still, go out there and give it a shot. And that's all I got to say. Thanks.
Hello, everyone. My name is Edward Tang, and I'm a student here at CTIC. My background is that I worked for a company for 15 years in the computer field. I was help desk for about 4 years, and then I got promoted into management, and I ran a small printing press for about 8 years. I was second shift manager. In 2009, they had a layoff because of internet and technology. We lost a lot of our print. A lot of companies are going paperless, and they're trying to reduce paper. You might see, like, when you get your bills in the mail, to say, go to this website and sign up for paperless bills, email. So a lot of companies are being affected by technology. They're losing jobs, too, because they're not printing as much. Even with the Kindle books, you could download 100 books to one chip and read them on your Kindle device, so there's no need to print books. So my industry in the printing was affected, and 6 people were laid off. I was one of them. So I was at home, and I started a little computer business from my own personal knowledge. And I started doing antivirus removals and memory upgrades and things of that nature. So I said, well, I need to get back into the market, I want to get back into the job market. So I noticed a lot of the jobs were requiring A+ certification in the job descriptions. So I found CTIC online, and I came over. I met Pastor Razor, and I sat in one of the classes on a Saturday, and I was impressed with his knowledge in the industry. I was really impressed with his knowledge and the school setup. And I even brought my friend Leonard, raise your hand. I brought him along with me to join the class. So we sat in the class one Saturday, and within 10 minutes of listening to the lecture, I said, this is what I'm gonna do. And I had made price comparisons, and this is really cheap compared to some of the other training programs. They can cost $3,000 or more for just a week training, and he's offering a 4-month training for a fraction of that price. So we signed up for the class, and shortly after being in the class, maybe about 2 or 3 months, I had applied for a couple of jobs, and one of them was at Truman College for computer lab technician. And so I went to the interview, not expecting to get the job, because this was my first interview in 2 years. And I was just happy to get an interview. And they offered me a job. During the interview, they asked me, had I ever built a server, or had ever cloned a computer, or did any computer imaging? And I told them that's something that I'm going to be doing in my class that I'm taking at CTIC. We're going to be imaging computers and building servers from the ground up. And I think that impressed the interviewers that I was getting those skills in the training program. So I recently just started working at Truman College about a week ago. I'm still got to take the A+ test in the near future to get the certification. But taking the classes here really boosts your confidence and gives you the confidence that you can do the job and that you can go out and be competitive in the job market. You know, even though I had years of experience with computers, I was still able to learn some new skill sets, and like I said, it builds confidence. The more you learn, the more confidence you have. You can go to an interview and intelligently discuss your skill sets and not be intimidated. And so I'm looking forward to working with Truman College. Right now, last week I just started, we changed out 30 hard drives. And basically, school's out right now because they're registering for classes, but in 2 weeks when school opens, that's when we're gonna really be hit with a lot of more technical problems with faculty members and things like that. Okay, I'm gonna pass it over to Patrice.
Hi, can you hear me? Okay. Right. Hi, my name is majority of the jobs in application and database went overseas at this time. Well, I went on many interviews, and just to be told my skills were outdated. Now, I was only laid off for at this time, a year, and my skills had already became outdated. So I grew up with Miss Razor, Jeanette, and her brother. And her brother got laid off too, so he was telling me, he said, you know, they got a school over there, and they do A+ and CCNA. So I said, oh, I don't know if I want to do anything with the network. He said, well, you should try it out. And I was still getting interviews, but I wasn't getting hired. So I came to the class. It was scary, and Mr. Razor made me feel real comfortable in his knowledge about the network, and he made me feel, you know, I learned a lot in that class. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna take the test. I'm real scared about tests. I was like, I ain't gonna pass this test, because it was so challenging to me, because I'm used to working on the application end, and doing the back end was real challenging for me. So I took the first test and passed it. I was so happy. And I came back the next week and took the second test, and I passed it. So I said, okay, let me put it on my resume. Oh my God, I started getting so many job offers and interviews. So when I went into interviews and they was asking me about A+, I was able, like you said, I was more confident because I had the hands-on training also, so I was able to answer all the questions that they were asking me with confidence. Well, I got hired at the school district, school district 132, and I quit because I felt like I deserve a little bit more. I don't know why. My teacher told me to apply for a job at Chicago State, so I applied for the job, not thinking that I was gonna get the interview. So I went in there and I went on the interview, and the lady was like, well, the only reason we interviewing you is because we'll call you back. I didn't think anything of it. So they called me back in 2 weeks and told me that I had the job. I'm coming back. I'm coming back. So it's a great opportunity, and you got some great teachers and professionals that motivate you just to hang in there. And I went out to Monster, and Link Ed is a good place to start. But just put your resume out there. And once you get that certification, doors is just gonna open. I can't believe how the doors are opening up for me. So.
How you guys doing? My name is Chris Nobles. I've been involved with this program for seems like quite a while now, even though it's probably, I think, maybe about 2 years going now. When I initially came into the program, coming in, I had a lot of experience with computers, maybe 10 plus years, if you will. And one of the things that was missing is kind of like the person who you go to try to apply for that job and you got all the experience in the world, but you don't have a degree or something like that. That was kind of me. I had a lot of experience, but then I remember going to interviews and they'd say, so if you got the experience, where's the paperwork? And I would always go, well, I don't need all that. I can tell you all this stuff I know. And sometimes that does work out, but in some situations it didn't. So coming here, right away I said, well, if I get this paperwork or this paper, you know, the A+ certification, I figured it'd open up a lot more doors for me and give a little more validity to who I was and what I was about in terms of my understanding of computers. So coming in right away, I noticed that even though I had all this experience, I was able to look at the program from the perspective of a person who would be saying, these guys really know what they're doing, because the stuff I was learning, yeah, some of it was stuff I've known already, but a lot of it I was still saying to myself, this program is really on top of the ball, because the stuff that you could sometimes learn maybe in other avenues, this was genuine. Pastor Razor taught the A+ class. Everything from day one to the last day was on spot with things you would have to know in the real world, and even more in-depth information in terms of, we say computer all the time, but computer is made up of many other things. So he really broke it down, and then just continuing with that, I said, well, I better see what I can do extra, maybe go a little further. And then did the CCNA certification, or the program. 10 years of computers did not even prepare me for 1 second of the first day of CCNA classes. Had nothing, in my mind, they were completely different. Like she said, it's not a game. You got to really be for real when you take that CCNA class. And you know, with that comes a big reward. You take the class, you get a lot of information, you learn a lot, and then guess what? You've elevated yourself in terms of, you go to a job interview or whatever you may have, you're gonna know some things in that interview. You can be able to say some things that are really gonna strike that interviewee's ears. You're gonna say, wait a minute, how do you know all this stuff? You know, it says here you got a CCNA, yeah, but or CC. It says here you got an A+, but you're going into depth with networking and protocols and all kind of other stuff. How do you know all that? So I took this class, and it wasn't that long, and then all of a sudden I went from where I would say level 0 understanding of networking and things of that nature, to now I feel a lot more confident. I can tell you some stuff right now, you'd be like, man, this guy been around this stuff for 5-10 years. But Felix Davis was the one who taught that class, and you got some stand-up teachers here in terms of the industry. I've gone to different programs.